Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan, a podcast for anyone wanting to start, grow or scale a profitable creative product business with me, Catherine Eardley. The Resilient Retail Game Plan is a podcast dedicated to one thing, breaking down the concepts and tools that I've gathered from 20 years in the retail industry and showing you how you can use them in your business. This is the real nuts and bolts of running a successful product business, broken down in an easy, accessible way. This is not a podcast about learning how to make your business look good. It's the tools and techniques that will make you and your business feel good. Confidently plan, launch and manage your products, and feel in control of your sales numbers and cash flow to help you build a resilient retail business. Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan. I'm your host, Catherine Eardley, as well as founder of the Resilient Retail Club, which is my membership group and consultancy for product businesses. Find out more at resilientretailclub.com. And if you use the code 10podcast, that's 10podcast, you can get £10 off your first month in the club. And today I'm so glad to be joined by Nicki Capewell from Pedddle. She is going to share with you her amazing insights into getting ready for a busy Christmas market season. Nicki, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
It was funny because I actually had to check back through the podcast. So I was like, I must have had Nicki on the podcast before now. I feel like because we chat fairly frequently and we always have such a good time. And then I was like, do you know what? I know we've done lives together. We've done several Instagram lives. I've featured you in Forbes articles. We've done all kinds of different things together, but just you've never been on the podcast. So welcome to the podcast.
I haven't. That's really kind. Thank you. No, we haven't. And we've always had such fab chats, don't we?
So we do.
It's lovely to chat and record it like this.
Do you want to start off by telling us what Pedddle is and how you help your members?
Okay, sure. Well, Pedddle is an online directory of creative and independent markets and their stallholders. So quite different to anything that's sort of out there at the moment, where our USP is the fact that our stallholders can virtually check in. Once they've actually booked on a market, they can virtually check in, be visible on market pages. Yeah, we really support our members as well, both, market organisers and stallholders. Stallholders, it's all about the community. We try and help them to be the best possible stallholder. And we look at all aspects of their business, from sort of like email marketing, all that side of it, and how we capture those people at markets, right through to your stall and your branding and things. We have different offers available just to our community. I guess the end game is just about being more visible online and ultimately offline, then being out at their markets.
Yeah, and I always think that you give such great support to your community and you're such a cheerleader for them. And I can see you on Instagram, you're there cheering people on, giving them tips, giving them advice. And I think it's such a great idea that if you're out at a market, I quite often use Pedddle to find out when the markets are around me, because of course I love a market. It's one of my very favourite things to do, go wander around a market. But also I love the fact that if you go to a market and you think, oh, what was that lovely ceramic stand I saw? And of course you don't always take everyone's card or anything like that. But of course you can go check on Pedddle and find out who they were and connect with them.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I really wanted it to be about, because when I started Pedddle, I came at it as a customer. I was their worst customer, basically. I'm that person that was like, my parking's run out, or this is happening, and my kids need, and having to dive off. And you always remember where you went, sort of what market you went to, and you'll know what date, but you don't always remember the name of the stallholder that was there. And the idea is to build up this big community where you can just jump back onto the market and see who was checked in. So for 6 months after a market, you can still be listed. Your business still gets listed on that market page. So hopefully people can find you really easily. And we've just created a new thing this year. So it's still very, very new, where our stallholders have their own QR code. And the idea behind this is that customers can scan that QR code and they get saved. That business then gets saved on their dashboard, and it's like a virtual business card, if you like. The other things get offered at that point as well. When you scan it, some of the stallholders will have at market discounts. So they might have like spend £10 or over £10 and get a discount off. And it just helps to make the sales a bit easier from a stallholder's perspective, just give a bit of a hook potentially for customers. But ultimately also, customers love a bargain. Of course they do. They might, they get asked, stallholders do get asked about, do you have discounts? And I suppose if you're willing to give that discount, then your business gets saved to their dashboard. So at any point after that date, they can go on the stores that they visited, see what date they were there. Because whenever they scan Pedddle board, like the QR code, it also says a date with it. So yeah, it's about making that customer journey easy as well, and just making it, I don't know, sort of a digital situation. Because markets I've been very offline for many, many years. So when I first started looking at this pre-COVID, everyone was thinking, well, a lot of people initially thought I was a little bit mad, because markets have always been, and almost were proud that they were kind of not digital. But actually we've got to evolve, haven't we, and move forward. And so COVID helped to make us realize that actually being a bit more digital savvy really helps. But yeah, I wanted it to be a community where people found it easy to shop and could find what they wanted. Yeah.
I think that's so important. And also it really speaks to this. One of the things that, I enjoy about what I do is I spend a lot of time writing and thinking about the way that the whole industry is moving and what part the small businesses play in that, which I think is usually the most exciting part. But one of those big trends is that movement towards what they call hybrid retail, and really that people who are shopping both offline and online with you, they are your best customers. Typically, there's lots of research that says as soon as somebody interacts with you in a digital space and in a physical space, then they are going to be a great customer for you, because they tend to be more loyal, they tend to be more likely to come back and buy again, and repeat customers are the customers we all want to have, because they're just much better customers in general. They tend to spend more, they tend to make fewer returns of products, they tend to cause you fewer customer service headaches, they tend to be more likely to share your products with other people. So I love the fact that what you're doing there is you're enabling that movement between the digital and the offline space and making it easier. And it's something that I always talk to people about whenever, whether it's a bricks and mortar store or a market stand. It's about having that connection between your digital presence and your physical presence. Just as much, if you've got a really big social media following, you should be pushing them, or not even a big, just any social media following, you should be pushing them and telling them about you being at the market, because the ones that follow you online and make a point of coming to see you at the market, those are really good customers as well. And those are the ones that you want to be interacting with.
This is something I've just been working on actually within a workshop, about maximizing your opportunities and outcomes at your market. And one of the things I spoke about was not forgetting your existing customers.
Yeah.
It's really important that we do get new people onto those email lists and get new people following us and things. But actually don't forget those customers that are there already. So, just being really clear about where you're going to be at a market. The amount of times I see posts go, yay, I'm here at a market, and it's like, well, where are you exactly? And then that's the first post that they've written about it, and they've not said anything in previous posts. Like, it's just about being aware of your sort of the narrative that you're putting out around your business. So like, here's where you can find me online, and we're quite good at saying that. You can find me here on Folksy or not on the high street or whatever. But being really clear about where they can find you in shops, maybe, or at markets, your wholesale. You've got to sort of like look at all of the aspects, because sometimes people really want to come and see your products.
Yeah.
And this is why I think it's so important to send an email out to your customers to let them know that you're going to be at a market, because actually those people could be sat at home going, oh, what shall I do today? And it might just be that they fancied going to a market and you've just dropped in their inbox. Or it might be they've been thinking that week, like, oh, I need to buy this thing, and I've seen it by somebody, And then they drop in your inbox and it was like, it was them, they're at a market, we're there,
Yes.
This is the connecting between the digital and the actual physical, telling people where you're going to be physically so they can come and see it, or where you're stocked so they can go and touch it, smell it, hold it.
And see a whole range as well. And I mean, I know, for example, I love Pecksmith. I'm local, South East London local. Pecksmith is such a fantastic Christmas market. And I know lots of these stall holders, but I specifically go. Last year I went, and I'm sure I'll end up doing the same this year. I went every day. It's a 3-day event because they changed the stall holders every day. And every day I knew people, because I wanted to go and say hi, and I wanted to meet people in person. And some people I'd spoken to, 2 years online. It was really fun just to walk around and meet so many people in person. And it absolutely is a draw to a market. If somebody... So, for example, Dakota Ray Dust, which every time I wear her earrings, these are my, you can't, of course, it's a podcast, you can't see them, but I'm sure basically you've probably seen like these big jazzy earrings that I love to wear. I've got them in all different colours. And then she came to she was going to be I remember this was last year, I think she was going to be in a London market. But it was the day that it was like freak wind or something, and I couldn't come. And I was so disappointed because I've been looking forward to, again, somebody that I buy a lot of her earrings, and I just really was like, oh my goodness, I could actually go and say hi in person, and it's turned out I couldn't. But it's that does generate excitement. So I think you're so right. Tell people where you're going to be, because there's definitely people that I follow that I would love to meet in person. And I mean, as I said, it doesn't take much to persuade me to spend a day at a market because I just love them. So but then again, yeah, it's like, of course, if I come see them, I'm probably going to buy something. So, encourage people to come and see you, say hi.
Those customers as well, they're your special customers. They're the ones that have been following you and know a little bit more about you. And it is great to see them, because as a maker as well, you've been connecting sometimes with these people online.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they come out and see you, it's really nice to see them. So that's what's special, I think, about markets, the fact that the business owners are stood right by the products and you can chat about the products that they've got and learn a little bit more about them. And I always think when I go to a market and I buy a gift for somebody, I love that I've got like a memory of what I was doing at the time when I got that gift for them. Mm-hmm. And it makes it just more special, I think, than, I nipped, or I went on Amazon and got whatever, like yeah. I don't have an Amazon account. I'm very proud of that. So I definitely didn't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the bit that makes it really special. And if you know a little bit more about the story behind the product, then you can tell, the recipient of that gift. And
yes,
it just means more, doesn't it? It is really nice.
It does, totally. So from a business owner's perspective, one of the things that I often feel like people overlook about markets is, of course, it's a sales opportunity, and certainly if you've got the right fit with the right customer and it's a well-organized market and you've been promoting it ahead of time, often they can be really significant sales drivers. But going back to your point about actually meeting people in person, what do you think about the fact you can actually get real live feedback from your ideal customer or potential customers throughout the whole day?
Oh, absolutely. I think feedback, this is the best place to learn. Like when customers come up to your store, watch where they go to first. What is their go-to point? So much feedback can be taken from a store, because you can see what products they're being drawn to, what sort of, maybe if it's scents, what scents they're being drawn to. Like, no, online you can't get that. There's no way, unless you start putting out surveys about it. But the most natural thing that you can do is just watch how your customers interact with your store and see what is the thing that brought them over to them. Because then what you do is you start to allow your store to evolve. I mean, this is something we should really be doing for Christmas anyway. You've got in mind what products might have sold well last year, but we're now in a very different time.
Yeah.
And I think feedback at a store is essential. Just really be very mindful of what things people are picking up and buying, because that might help to guide you with your product ranges. And it might be different online to at markets. It might be different market to market as well. And this is the other thing to know, really watch at each market what things sell well and what are your best sellers, and is it the cheaper products, or is it your mid-range that sell well, and then make that, put it in the eye line. Somebody said this a couple of weeks ago at a market and I loved it. Eye line is the byline. I mean, it's probably a really old school thing, but actually, when you walk up to a store, if that
so true.
product is the one that's been going and it was down at the bottom on the flat bit, put it up to higher up, put it on the bit high and see, does that draw more people in? Does it make it sell better?
Yeah.
And just learn and evolve with your store, evolve at different markets. So yeah.
I love that. And I also think as well, it's like you can do like heat maps of websites and look at where people are looking, but there's nothing like having all your products laid out in front and seeing what catches people's eye, and also listening to what questions they ask, because I think that's really crucial. If every third person says, do you do this in a larger size? Okay, that's interesting. Everybody's asking for this. Now, you always have to take it with a slight pinch of salt, because I'm sure we've all got stories of where everyone said they would definitely buy it if we did X, Y, Z, and then I did X, Y, Z and nobody bought it. But also, or if everyone says, is this vegan or whatever, then okay, well, actually, I'm going to make sure, have I got this on my FAQs? Do I talk about this on social media? What is it? Do people have all the information they need to buy? What are they having to ask me that isn't here already? I think that's also really important. And also because when people are on your website, you can't hear them going to their friend, oh, isn't this lovely? This would be the perfect gift for so-and-so, or oh, I just wish it was a bit smaller because it doesn't fit my phone, or whatever it is. It's all these different things that you can get as it's really great to hear that in-person feedback. So you touched on Christmas.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more, because I do think this is a very different year this year to last year, yet more challenging. Can you believe it? We're even saying that. But obviously, with everything that's going on. So what sense are you getting from your members, both the individual stallholders and the markets, about where they think Christmas is heading this year? So we've heard some talk about people shopping early, if that's been things that they're seeing, or what do you feel like people have seen so far with the kind of way that the customer's behaving?
Well, one thing I don't think they're doing is shopping early right now. I think I've actually just put on my stories today that I wonder if it's going to be more of a late shopping experience for people, because September's been a really busy month, crazy external things going on that some people it will affect some more than others, but then I just think it seems like a bit of a frenetic year, 2022. And as you say, I cannot believe we're saying this, because, how could it get any worse? But actually, for online sales and things like that, the last 2 years have been good, and it's been, and people have wanted to get out, but then no one expected all of the things that are going to happen right now. And quite a few things are changing in the financial world right now, and everyone's just sitting tight. So I think it's really hard not to get emotionally rocked as a business owner by a bad weekend. So this weekend just gone's not a great weekend. Got to think about it, that people have not been paid, just for the purpose of people listening. It's we're near the end of the month, but we're not quite there. So, towards the end of the month, people generally get paid start of the next month. So usually the first weekend of the month is a better market day for people. So, I'm hoping next weekend will be better, but I just get this feeling that people are holding tight for a little bit longer. I think from what I'm hearing from my members, stallholders, they're quite optimistic, but then anxious. They're really hopeful, hope that it's going to get better because it's got to be, but are also concerned at the same time. And they just are very unsure at the moment, and they're hopeful and optimistic is where they're at the moment, because people need to shop. So I hope that comes off for them and for the whole community, because what markets offer and how long they've been around and what you can get at an event like that, or just buying from small businesses, is what you can't feel, the emotional side that you can't feel if you just bought online from just a bigger retailer. So I think it's going to be a tough one, but try and look at, I think the best time to review would be at the very end of the year. And I think it's a lot of some stallholders as well say, oh, that was a slow market, but then they add it up at the end and they go,
Yes.
oh, actually, it was all right.
That's so true, because actually every month in the Resilient Retail Club, we have a planning session where we get together and then I get people to walk through a series of exercises on how did the last month go. And so many people will say, oh, no, it was terrible. It was a really dreadful month. And then they add it all up and they go, oh, actually, like you say,
yeah.
Oh, it's not as far off as I thought. It just, in my head, I felt it was really terrible.
Yeah. And it's not being emotionally sort of fueled by that at a market at that time, try and keep this optimism and hope. And obviously as well, like we were just saying before, really watch what people are doing, really take everything that they can from each market and learn from it and make the next market better. I think at the end it will be okay. In terms of like people looking for markets, Pedddle right now, its traffic is matching Christmas last year.
Okay,
last year was good. So we're getting a lot of traffic. People are wanting to find markets. Today is a Monday, and normally you'd think that'd be a quieter day for people looking. There's lots of people looking for markets today. So, I think I'm really hopeful that we're going to have a good year in terms of people wanting to get out to markets. It's just that at the moment got a bit of a disconnect that people are at markets but not spending as much. So yeah, and I think market organisers are concerned as well because they want it to be the best it can be as an experience for customers, but also for stallholders. I think you've just got to be positive and bring that to the markets, because actually if you bring your sort of negative vibes thinking this isn't going to be a good market, it can end up being that way. So you just have to bring this positive mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Completely agree. And you have to be talking to customers and having conversations with them. And if you're feeling, and that's harder to do, I think, when you're feeling sort of in yourself somewhat nervous or worried or just negative about things. I think it's interesting what you were saying there about more and more people looking for markets. So I spent quite a lot of time getting ready for a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago all about selling in a recession. One of the stats that jumped out was that online sales have been declining month on month, every month for the last 10 months. So that sounds really worrying. And if you've got an online business, you might be thinking, oh, fantastic. But they're still higher than 2019. So it's really just a correction of where we jumped up so high in the pandemic that 10 months period is almost like as things started to open up again. But and overall retail sales are slightly down, but basically what it's showing you is that physical retail sales are up, and also, physical events. I do think that people are out and about. They missed it. They missed it last year, maybe when they were feeling more concerned about COVID, and they certainly missed it in 2020 when it just wasn't possible at all. So I definitely think that one of the things I've said to people is, you always have to kind of try and de-risk your sales strategy by having multiple sales channels. And online, of course, there's plenty of mileage in online, and we're still talking about it being nearly a third of all retail spend happening online. But thinking about the role that a physical event or a physical space can play in your business is really important too.
Absolutely. And I think, as you just said, you've got to have all of those revenue streams coming in, but being present at markets again, it's not always about the sales that you get there and then as well. It's the conversations, because 2 weeks down the line you might get a commission come in as a result of a chat. So just being present in all of these places, but they're not getting overwhelmed as well. This is another thing. I think people by that will go, well, I need to be everywhere. And it's finding. One thing I've sort of mentioned to my membership is actually really have a look back at who your customer is, because your customer might still be the same type of person, but they might have just slightly changed a little bit because of everything that has happened in the last few months. So go back to who your customer is, then really have a think on where will that customer be, and perhaps be a little bit more focused, but be more clear with what you're telling them, and your story, and just really building that trust for them, and then meeting them at markets and being there present for them and being social with them on social media.
making those connections online and offline. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so final question then. If somebody's listening to this podcast and they're thinking, right, okay, going to get out there, or maybe you're already signed up for some Christmas markets. You've already given some amazing tips, so you might have already covered it, but what would you say your top tip is for making the most out of a Christmas market?
Oh, one top tip, or can I give you a few?
Or you can give me a few.
Yeah, I think I have covered them, but I'm going to summarize some of the things as well. Learning from how people interact with your store.
Yeah.
Maybe make your store memorable. We're talking about this a lot in our membership, because obviously I want our Pedddle members to be the best stallholders out there. So we're talking about being memorable. Just being very clear about where you are and visible, both on and offline. Make sure you're really connecting with your existing customers and telling them where you are going to be so they can come out and find you. Then some little things with products. Consider things that you might not have done before. So, we have, it's not new things, but new tactics like bundle products. So this might be something that people, they'll buy a bundle of things and then split them up.
Yeah.
And then think about how you package them. So you're sort of encouraging people to buy more products in one thing.
I feel like I'm really banging this drum this Christmas, because I think this is one thing that small businesses really miss an opportunity here. The idea is just like this breadth of price point, and I say it again, like breadth of price point. So you want the entry level thing, little pick-me-ups, or people of a certain budget for a present, but they also, lots of people will club together to buy one big gift. So can you offer a gift set, as you say, or some kind of multi-buy or something? Just also really helps you as a business owner, for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was then just going to say, have the smaller items and then have the pickup pieces, because sometimes people test you out and purchase a little item, see how it works, use whatever, and then they'll come back. And I think be really clear about the message of your products. I think the pricing, keeping it really clear and simple as well. Yeah, there's lots of things that stallholders can think about. I think they can get bogged down with going, I need to do this and I need to do this, and actually just really go slow and just look and watch and take on board and adapt and evolve slowly. I think that's really important. I thought as well, from a customer perspective, I thought, when with this question for Christmas, like how can they get the most out of a market as well? And I was thinking, like, speak to the makers and learn about the products, which I've said as well before, but I think that makes it more special. You want your customers to be chatting and asking you these questions because that they will really love it more. And you want to try and get your customers to go home, if they can, if it's a product for them, and get it on their social media, because actually the best type of advertising is the stuff where people go and talk about it to their friends, or they go and share it without you actually constantly having to bang on about it. So if you can get that as well, that would be really good.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for all of your golden nuggets. It's been brilliant. Do you want to tell us more about how you can find out about Pedddle?
Yeah, so currently we have applications open, but we do sort of open and close them. So you've just got to keep jumping back and finding out. It is open at the moment, and you just go onto the website and it has a big join Pedddle button. But it is lovely to come and be part of our community. And we've just done a survey at the moment, and some of the things that they love about being a Pedddle member is the community and the learning that they take. And each month we have a different theme, and we have a meet and make session, and then other people just love the real practical things where they can let their customers know where they're going to be. They can check in, they can get the pedal boards out, and they're really proud to get those pedal boards out, which is nice. So yeah, head over to Pedddle.
I'll put the link in the show notes as well, so if anyone wants to go check it out, they can.
And if you have any questions, you want to know more or how we can support you, then just drop us a DM, or you can find a contact form on the website as well.
And you're Pedddle UK on Instagram.
Yeah, across all social media, Pedddle UK. Yeah. Oh, Pedddle with 3 Ds as well. Just
Pedddle with 3 Ds, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make sure it's correct make sure it's all correct in the show notes. Just thinking actually about you the other day, because what you were talking about, I had to do a bit of research. I bought a mug for myself from Made Up North Market. I was visiting the Northeast, and then my friend who lives in the Northeast, it was her birthday, and I wanted to get her a mug from the same person because we've been to the market together and she was admiring it. So, I've got it here. Of course, sorry, everyone who's listening to the podcast, can't see it, but it's a very lovely mug.
Very cute.
Yeah, and I had to do quite a lot of, like you say, I had to do some detective work to figure out who this person was, because unfortunately it's a handmade mug, and so it doesn't have a website on it. So there you go. If you've got a brand and you're going to be at market, then check out Pedddle so that people don't have to work as hard as I did to figure out who it is.
That's all about making the customer journey, and we really appreciate that. At the moment it's tough, but now more than ever, I think the businesses that will survive are those that are really keeping themselves visible and making their customer journeys easy. So however that is, if Pedddle's part of that journey, then we'd love that.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Why not come over to @Resilient Retail Club, show me where you're listening. I absolutely love it when people tag me into where they're listening to the podcast. And of course, let me know what you took away from today's episode. Are you going to be doing anything differently for your Christmas markets this year? If you have a moment to rate and review the podcast in iTunes, that means the world to me. Also in Spotify, you can rate it inside the app, which is fantastic and really appreciated. And of course, if you subscribe or follow the podcast, you'll be able to find out about each new episode. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then I invite you to check out resilientretailclub.com. The Resilient Retail Club is the membership for anyone wanting to start, grow, or scale a profitable product business. No more trawling Google trying to find the answers to your questions or wading through general business advice that speaks mainly to service-based businesses. Whether you're still at the idea stage or you've been going for a while but want to get more focused and organised when it comes to your business, the Resilient Retail Club is the place for you. With a library of courses tailored to creative product businesses, several live sessions a month, and a supportive and active community, the Resilient Retail Club is the perfect membership to help you hit your goals faster. Check it out at resilientretailclub.com.